and you just throw him in the sea. So I thought if I'm throwing him in the sea anyway, may as well put him to use and we'll have a little barbecue.
Dan with Dan, Dan with Jen, Dan with Dan, Dan with Dan, Dan with Jen.
Leanne, welcome to 10 with Jen, where I ask 10 out of 10s, like yourself, 10 questions in around 10 minutes to get to know you in a fun way.
Hi Jen, thanks for having me. I've never been called 10 out of 10 before. I'm usually about a 3, so that's pretty good for me. I'll have a spring in my step
Oh,
today.
and you can. All right, this is going to make you feel like super duper fun.
Okay, bring
Okay,
it on.
go. Leanne is an experienced web consultant and domain name investor, as well as the founder of Crunch ID, a platform that analyzes reported domain sales data. Expanding from web design into domain investing, she has combined her creative and analytical skills to excel in the space, where she is highly respected for her generosity in sharing insights with the community, as well as her support of nature and dedication to growth. Leanne is also a graduate of DN Academy, a volunteer at Race Against Blood Cancer, and a passionate Wolves fan. How are you, Leanne?
I'm great. That intro did make me feel good. That makes me sound like a good person.
You are a good person. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Leanne,
All right.
are you ready for your 10 with Jen?
Yes, please.
Sand or snow?
Ooh,
Mm,
good question. Pros and cons to both.
yeah.
I don't do cold very well because I'm only small, so I love the beauty of snow, but I'd probably have to say sand, even though there's practical issues there, but I'd have to go down that route. But I went to Tromsø a few years ago in the Arctic Circle, and obviously that's all snowy and it's just the most gorgeous place. So I want to say
Yeah.
snow, but I probably have to say sand practically.
Okay, I have a surprise for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's your.
And that fits with the background. It's like we're mind readers. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So here we go. We both love the movie Josie and the Pussycats. What's your favorite scene or quote from the movie?
Oh my God. That's such a good question. There's so many.
I
I
know.
love any scene with Missy Pyle. Like she
Yep.
steals every scene that she's in.
Yeah.
Um, oh my God. All the Parker Posey quotes.
Yep.
Oh wow. I'm on the spot. I'm on the spot.
It's so hard because I
Yeah.
was trying to think of my favorite as well. And I'm like, wiggity whack, Wyatt. And then,
All the de jour ones. De jour means
yeah.
seatbelts. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the line, puppies grow into dogs who get old and die. That's always a good one. When Josie turns a bit evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I also like, I thank God every day I knew the words to Enter Sandman when they're
Oh,
playing
I
Crashes in the
love that
Metallica gig.
one.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I
it's
love
such
that
a
one.
quotable film. That's why I love it so much. So,
Yeah.
we could be here. We could do 10 with Jen just on quotes.
I know we could. I know. The other one that I just love is where he's like, it's my face. It's my face.
It is the face.
What is the most terrifying animal?
Spiders, they count?
Yes, they count.
100% spiders.
Yeah.
100%. Like big house spiders, not I don't mind garden ones. And we have some over here. I mean, you have spiders, but we have these little, they look like daddy long legs. They're just really spindly legs. And like, they don't bother me, but just the big, gnarly black house spiders are just,
Yeah.
oh my God, they're just awful. And the element of surprise, you walk into a room and they're just there, or
Yeah.
watching TV and they'll just run across the floor. Like, I
Yeah.
don't like that. I don't like that at all.
As a solo entrepreneur in tech, what strategies do you use to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
I think breaking up the day is really helpful because when I was a web designer, I had an office not at home. I'd travel to that, and then it would just be, hunched over a keyboard for 8, 10 hours, just working straight, and you just feel absolutely awful at the end of the day. So when I started working from home, um, I'd find that I'd work for a couple of hours and then I'd go and, put some washing on, and then I'd work for an hour, and then I'd have some lunch, and then I'd work for a couple of hours, and just breaking it up like that, and just pottering around the house. And then at the end of the day, didn't feel tired at all. So I just thought, wow, that's the way to do it. And it's way more productive just working in smaller chunks than just trying to throw everything at it in one go. So I would say that's a big thing day to day. Yeah, and in general, I, I'm very sort of rigid with my work hours. So it is a sort of 9 to 5 thing. You won't get an email reply from me necessarily at like 7, 8, 9, 10 at night or on a weekend or anything. So I'm quite strict with that again, because when I was doing the web design, I maybe wasn't as strict and doesn't feel good. But when you have like a hard stop at the end of the day and that's it for the day, it's yeah, just mental health wise feels great.
What's your favorite type of tea? And do you have a go-to treat that you enjoy with it?
I have different teas at different time of day. So you can't beat Yorkshire tea in the morning as your first cup of tea, pick you up. Fantastic tea. We call it builder's tea, that kind of tea where it's just, milk, sugar, strong black tea, good cup of builders. And then for the rest of the day, I'll have a green tea in the afternoon, just because it's got some caffeine. So that's just a little perk. And then either side of that, I'll have red bush and peppermint
Oh,
and a
yes.
chamomile.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, get those antioxidants in. Like,
Yeah.
I just pack them in. So they're the sort of 4 or 5 teas that I drink. And then with it, at the moment, I'm enjoying a Jaffa cake. I don't know if you have Jaffa cakes.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were just like in the supermarket on offer, and I thought, oh, I haven't had a Jaffa cake for ages. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, really enjoying a couple of those with a cup of tea at the moment.
What is a surprising trend in the domain name space that you have discovered whilst crunching data?
Ooh. I think what I'm seeing lately is the importance of the SLD and less importance of the TLD, certainly in the sort of sub 5K range, maybe sub 10K range. So just having those one words in alternate extensions, sometimes even two, but that does seem to be a bit riskier, a bit hit and miss. So I wouldn't recommend any 2 words. But if you can find a strong one word in a TLD that you see popping up on name bio every now and then, it might not be every day they're getting sales, but you're seeing something come through. And as long as they're not, I mean, some of these are like $100, $200 to register and renew a year. So I wouldn't invest in those either. But I just monitor the SLDs that are dropping in any TLD and just try and pick a couple up around there.
You recently returned from a trip. What's the wildest travel story you've experienced?
Maybe a few years ago, I went to Sicily. I have a friend there, so I get to go quite often. And there was wildfires around where he lives, and we were just out walking, and then you could just kind of hear it and you could feel the heat even though it was really far off. So just kind of being so close to a wildfire was that was quite crazy.
What is something interesting about you that most people don't know?
Something interesting about me most people don't know, I was born at 25 weeks.
Wow.
So super early, 3.5 months early.
Wow.
So 2 pounds, transparent. I wasn't even really born. My mum was very unwell, and they said we're going to have to remove the baby. So they just
Wow.
removed me, and we're
Yeah.
working on her, trying to save her life. And there was a student nurse in the theatre who thought, oh, I'll see if I can get this thing breathing. And she tried, and it worked. And I just inflated from being just this little thing. And yeah, the rest is history. So
That's so
yeah,
cool.
thank you to that student nurse for
Yeah.
being
Oh
bored
my
and
gosh.
just thinking, ah, let's try.
And the world is better with you in it, Leanne.
Jen, you
It's
charmer.
you.
And I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Everyone loves everyone.
You're stranded on an island with the Sherpas because God knows I am not going to be the only woman on this island. Who would you eat first?
I've heard this question come up, so I have given it a bit of thought. So I might be a bit more prepared than some of the earlier guests who just kind of had to. So it would be Drew, obviously. But I think everyone's saying Drew. And it's twofold. So, morale is important on a desert island. And you'd be trying to light a fire, and Drew will say, "That's not going to work. That's not going to catch." And you'd be like, it might, give it a go. And then if it doesn't, he'd be like, "I told you. I said 2 hours ago that wasn't going to catch. I was right. I called." And you just throw him in the sea. So I thought, if I'm throwing him in the sea anyway, may as well put him to use, and we'll have a little barbecue. And I say this with affection. I obviously love Drew, but it would just be hard to, you know, have your morale brought down when you're just trying to build a little A-frame shelter or something, get a little fire going. Is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, why not? Two birds, one stone.
You volunteer for Race Against Blood Cancer charity. Can you share more about the organization, what inspired you to get involved, and how others could possibly get involved?
Sure. So Race Against Blood Cancer is a charity that feeds into another charity called DKMS, which is a blood cancer charity here. And what they do is they encourage people to sign up to the stem cell donor register. And what that does is, if you have blood cancer, if they have to give you a super, super high dose of chemotherapy, the chemotherapy would work, but it would also destroy your ability to produce new white blood cells. So you wouldn't survive the chemotherapy. So what you need if you have that type of blood cancer is a stem cell transplant. So they would then go to the register, everyone's stem cells on there who signed up, and they would look for a match. And if they have a match, they phone that person, they bring them in, they donate their stem cells, and then they can then give this person chemotherapy and give them the stem cells and cure them of cancer. So it's just about encouraging people to sign up to that stem cell donor register, so that you're on the list, so that if you match, then you get called in and you can save someone. So super, super important.
Well, thank you for your time today, Leanne. You've now
Thank
been
you, Jen.
tanned with Jen.
Fantastic.
My ears keep disappearing.
You do.
I'm not taking them off because they're so cute.
Ever. No.